All right, let's get right into it. We're at the moment a long, tense silence finally shatters. But, this isn't about relief. This isn't about finding a resolution. This is about how the wrong words, said way too late and heard in the worst possible way, can cross a line. A line that turns concern into actual damage.
So, the group's decision to finally go talk to Tane, it wasn't some big emotional blow-up. No, it was framed as something that just had to be done. A responsible choice. The pressure had just built up so much that it was about to break one way or another.
And the conversation where they decide this, it was incredibly short, stripped down to the bare minimum. It literally takes 2 lines of dialogue to get this whole thing rolling. Rhea volunteers, and nobody argues. The weight of that decision is just hanging there in the air, and everyone gets it without another word being said.
Now, the really telling part is the walk down the hostel corridor that comes next. It's slow, it's deliberate, but here's the thing. They have no plan, no script. They have no idea what they're actually going to say. And that lack of a plan is exactly what makes this whole situation so incredibly dangerous. They're basically walking straight into an ambush they set for themselves.
Okay, so Rhea knocks, Tane opens the door, and he doesn't look sad or broken. He looks cornered. She asks if they can talk, he steps back, and then you hear it, the click of the door closing behind them. And just like that, they're all trapped in this tiny room together. The pressure just skyrockets.
This single image tells you everything you need to know about the power dynamic right from the start. Tanai immediately sits down. It's a defensive move. And the other 3, they're left standing, almost like a panel of interrogators, even if they don't mean to be. The room is dead quiet, but their body language has already started the fight. Rhea is the one who finally breaks the silence. And this is what she opens with. She means it as a way to say, hey, we were worried. But that's not how it lands. To Tanai, it sounds like an accusation. You can just see him stiffen. The very first sentence spoken is already a complete misfire.
And right here, this is the real turning point. Because what Rhea says next is factually 100% true. But the way Tane hears it, well, that's what lights the fuse for the entire explosion. In his head, their concern has officially become an accusation.
It's so simple. Rhea just states a fact. You stopped responding. Her goal is to explain why they showed up, why they were worried. But Tanai doesn't hear any of that context. All he hears is the charge against him. And this one little moment of miscommunication, it poisons everything else that's about to happen. Tanai's defense is simple enough. I needed space. And, in a different world, that could have been the moment things calmed down, a moment of understanding, but of course that's not what happens, because an attempt to help comes from the absolute worst direction.
Kabir jumps in with what he thinks is a helpful, logical comment, but it doesn't sound like advice. It sounds like blame. Then say that implies that this is all Tanai's fault for not communicating the right way. And in response, Tanai's posture shifts. He stands up. Now everybody's on their feet. The room just got even smaller.
Rhea can see it's all going off the rails, so she tries to pull it back. She softens her voice, tries to get back to the core of it, saying they were just worried. But Tane is so deep in his defensive crouch now that he takes that word, worried, and turns it into a weapon with one single devastating question.
And there it is. That's the point of no return. A horrible, crashing silence just fills the room. You can see the pure shock on Sana's face. Kabir literally takes a step back. And Rhea, she just freezes. Without one question, he's completely reframed their concern as a guilty conscience. The damage is officially done.
And just as that accusation is hanging in the air, at the absolute peak of the tension, the door opens. It is the worst possible interruption at the worst possible time. And of course, the person standing in the doorway is the one person guaranteed to make all of this 1,000 times worse.
Mira steps into the room, and with this one single sentence, she completely hijacks the entire situation. She doesn't ask what's going on. She immediately casts Tanai as the victim and the other 3 as the aggressors. By telling him he doesn't have to explain himself, she's basically saying their concern is just pressure. And his silence? That's all the confirmation she needs.
So, the conversation's dead. It's over. Rhea makes one last-ditch effort to connect. She says, I came because I cared. And she looks right at Tanai, giving him one final chance to just acknowledge her. He says nothing, and you can see the decision settle on her face.
She leaves. It's not dramatic. It's just final. Kabir follows her right away. Sana, who feels everything, hesitates for just a second, gives Tane one last look, but then she leaves too. The door shuts again. The fracture is complete. The group is broken.
This really sums up the whole disaster. Before this conversation, Tanai was alone, but after they leave, he's isolated. Their intervention didn't build a bridge, it built a wall. They've left him more cut off than he was before they ever walked in.
And Mira gets the last word, cementing her win. She uses this catastrophic outcome as proof that she was right all along. Tanai looks at her, and what's so important here is that he doesn't agree with her, but he doesn't argue either. He's just too tired to fight for another version of the story.
So yeah, someone finally spoke, but it didn't fix anything. It just made everyone dig into their own corners and turned a misunderstanding into a weapon. The attempt to break the silence just ended up making it permanent. And from this point forward, every word and every silence is going to carry the weight of this total failure.
Now that the damage has been done, a whole new problem comes up. What happens when the wrong things are overheard? Next time, we're going to dig into what was never, ever meant to be heard.